Candace Owens balance sur le passif et le passé de Dupond-Moretti. Dupond-Moretti s'en est pris à faits et documents à Xavier Poussard, Natacha Ray, Amandine Roy, Alain Soral, tous les brigitologues de l'histoire, la fameuse histoire donc de l'affaire Trogneux. Dupond-Moretti, on en a fait une vidéo, je vous incite à la voir, chez RTL, il balance tout. Il dit que l'affaire Brigitte, c'est l'extrême droite, que l'extrême droite, elle est soutenue par les Russes en faveur de Marine Le Pen. Bref, c'est n'importe quoi, c'est conspiration sur conspiration. La réalité, c'est que les gens demandent simplement de la vérité concernant l'affaire Brigitte. Et demander la vérité aujourd'hui, ça vous taxe automatiquement de conspirationniste, voire d'antisémite. Ah mais je déconne pas. Comme Macron, il a comme parrain David de Rothschild, et comme les Rothschild, certains Rothschild sont de la communauté, tout de suite, on peut vite faire le rapprochement avec l'antisémitisme. C'est dire, c'est dire. Donc aujourd'hui, on va écouter ce que a dit Candace Owens à propos du passé de Dupond, parce que Candace Owens, ça reste une femme. Et vous savez, les femmes, elles ont beaucoup d'ego. Quand vous les piquez, les femmes, je vous jure, les femmes, il ne faut pas les avoir en ennemi. Elles vous pourrissent la vie. Vaut mieux les avoir en ami, ou limite vous les ignorez. Candace Owens, elle s'est sentie piquée par Dupond-Moretti, je peux te garantir qu'elle met une torgnole virtuelle, elle met une calotte. Calotte de ses morts, mon copain. Une calotte de ses morts, mon copain, à Dupond-Moretti. On va regarder ça. Avant de commencer, les amis, je vous incite, s'il vous plaît, abonnez-vous. En ce moment, on n'a pas énormément d'abonnés. C'est pas un drame, hein, c'est la vie. Mais voilà, si certains ne sont pas encore abonnés, eh bien, je vous incite à le faire. Mettez un énorme pouce bleu, évidemment, sous cette vidéo et des commentaires. Ça m'aide énormément pour le référencement. Merci à tous. Allez, on va se regarder ce qu'a à dire Candace Owens sur Dupond-Moretti. C'est parti.
Okay, who Eric Dumond-Moretti is himself. Because you need to understand, this is not casual, okay? He is publicly representing that he's working with the US attorneys that are suing me to help.
Alors, je vais être un tout petit peu moins en accéléré parce que comme c'est des sous-titres, ça va passer vite. Donc voilà. Hop,
this investigation, and he is not an average lawyer, okay? Eric Dupond-Moretti, this signals that Brigitte is bringing in the big guns. He is the former Justice Minister of France, okay? So think of that as like the Attorney General of France, handpicked by Brigitte herself. And when she handpicked him, it caused outrage all throughout France. And if you want to know why, it's because, like I said at the top of the show, Eric has a unique skill set. In other words, the cases that Eric takes on as an attorney, the cases that he tends to intervene in, have a common theme. I'm going to briefly tell you about just a couple of these cases. You can look him up independently. I'm not painting a picture here. This is crazy. The first one is known as the Manouchian affair. Okay, the Manouchian affair refers to a man. His name was Dennis Manouchian. He meets a young woman when he's young as well, a teenager. Her name is Lawrence. They decide they're going to get married and begin a life together. They immediately start having some children, okay? Now, Dennis Manouchian is a very skilled engineer. He climbs the ladder at an automobile company and he becomes a senior executive. Him and Lawrence have 5 children. And I'm going to make it very easy for you because I'm going to put together a chart so that you can follow the story. They have 3 girls. Virginie, she's the eldest. She's born in 1981. And then they have Betty, and they have a daughter named Samantha. They also have 2 boys. Their names are Tony and Dimitri. You can keep this up, Skylar, as I keep talking, just so they can follow this. Okay, so Lawrence, his wife, apparently, she just loves to spend money, okay? And Dennis is happy to allow her to spend money so long as they come to an understanding together. And that understanding is she can spend, he won't ask questions, so long as she looks the other way while he rapes their daughters.
Ah
I'm
ouais.
not kidding, okay? Viewer discretion advised, okay? Listener discretion advised. This is the agreement that they come to. And so he begins to do this in earnest to Betty when she's just 8 years old. Virginie witnesses it. They both go to their mother, and their mom just ignores it because this is the agreement. Betty, okay, that is the younger sister, becomes pregnant from her father 3 times between the ages of 13 and 18 years old. And each time, they take her to a different hospital because, you know, she's got to get an abortion, but they also want to avoid any suspicion. They want the hospital to think that she's just like, you know, a girl that sleeps around a lot, teenager that sleeps around. So they go to 3 different hospitals. Needless to say, it's not just physical abuse. The father is also psychologically abusive. He decides to treat Betty, the one who's been pregnant 3 times, as like the hoe of the family. He has a favorite. Virginie is his favorite. He refers to her as the Duchess. But Betty, he can't stand her. He calls her fat. He calls her ugly. He threatens her and also her mother repeatedly. Like there was this incident where he found a cigarette butt, just to give you an idea of like who he is. He finds a cigarette butt on the ground where they live, and he's like, which one of you is smoking? So he like, takes them to the woods and just holds like a rifle to their faces. Right. Betty and the mother, that is, not the Duchess, Virginie. Also, if you're wondering like where are the sons in this story, he actually makes them live in a shed on the property, totally separate. They're not allowed to be in the main house. And he does that for two reasons. One is because he wants to keep the sons in the dark regarding the repeated rapes of the daughters, but also because he's very jealous and he doesn't want any male competition in the house where he's living with his wife and his daughters. So he just keeps the sons away, annexed, down at the shed. Anyways, fast forward to the year 2000. Betty, the younger sister, is 16. Virginie is now 21. And Dennis decides to make Virginie, his daughter, the main woman of the household. So his wife, Lawrence, let's get that chart up again. His wife, Lawrence, is now relegated, kind of. He's like kind of treating her like she's maybe a daughter with Samantha.
Voilà, donc, alors là, c'est un peu long parce qu'elle résume l'affaire de Manéchez, mais c'est pour dire à quel point, regardez, là, elle va citer plusieurs affaires, justement, que défend Dupond-Moretti. C'est pour vous dire à quel point ce type-là était comme garde des Sceaux, ce type-là est proche des Macron, ce type-là a du pouvoir, ce type-là est un type qui a quand même, c'est une pointure dans le monde des avocats, hein, c'est pas rien, c'est pas personne. Hein. Et regardez les affaires. Et évidemment, la fameuse affaire d'Outreau, je pense qu'elle en parlera après. On va essayer d'avancer pour trouver justement ça. Mais déjà, regardez à quel point, quel genre d'histoire, quel genre de personne il défend Dupond-Moretti.
Least that her mother, by the way, Laura, really terrible, disgusting stuff, okay? Suffice it to say that Dennis and Lawrence are of course arrested, the mother and the father, and they are imprisoned until 2004 when their lawyers are able to secure their release until after the trial and the sentencing. And guess who gets brought into his legal team? Okay, Eric Dupond-Moretti, guy who thinks I'm like colluding with Russia and taking instructions while I'm on a pilgrimage. Now, Dennis is his client. The father is his client. Dennis is a bit of a psycho, you might imagine. Despite being released and given instructions that he has to stay away from his daughter, he violates that because he just wants to be around Virginie. He's a little obsessed with Virginie. Right? And Eric begin to incest. Yeah, the incest. You guys are a half sentence to courts.
Voilà, ouais, ok.
And her was born is trying to convince about happy incest anyways. And he's looking at this court and Brigitte and Emmanuel come here for their case. Extraordinary love. That's what they told me. We did learn, actually. They were an extraordinary case. This was a teacher and the student, and this was so compelling and extraordinary.
Okay,
anyways, let me not get lost here. It works. The sentence is then reduced, consequentially, during the appeal trial in Amiens to just 5 years in prison, 3 of which,
Ouais, ok.
after being
Donc, histoire d'inceste, hein.
throughout this is hunting Virginie, right? Because he loves her. Years later, he masterminded this. He also gives a Legion of Honor award to, and we have a picture here, Hubert Delarue.
Voilà.
There's the Minister of France buckling it onto him, putting it onto him, the lawyer who worked alongside Moretti to come up with the happy incest. He gets one too. Everybody gets a Legion of Honor. Everybody gets a Legion of Honor that's
Entre
doing
les deux avocats,
good
ils se remettent
stuff
là.
for, I guess, the aims of the Macrons. Now, again, like if you are a person, you might be thinking, oh, well, this could just be one case. That's what defense attorneys are supposed to do. No, you're like way off, okay? It's never that when it comes to Emmanuel and Brigitte. It's always a pattern that's emerging. And certainly for Eric, he has a very unique skill set. He's interested in a very unique set of circumstances. Incest, pedophilia. And I'm going to tell you another crazy story when we get back just from me mentioning our sponsors. Our first sponsor is Dose, a morning for your liver. Enzyme function to Dose daily, 30%. Life Coffee, $1 million of everyone's in need. This coffee is more than a go ahead, plus exclusive savings on your first order. Brigitte's Minions, Brigitte's Dragons. It's like, you're going to talk about the Outreau case. I hadn't even gotten to that case, actually, because there's just so many to choose from. But now we're going to talk about the Outreau case. They're like, no, you can't. It doesn't matter what lawyers defend. Oh, but it's also interesting, isn't it? It's all so interesting. And I got to tell you, one of the things that really stands out to me about the Monochet affair, and you can go look into this yourself, Dennis Monochet, does not show that certain children, including Jonathan DeLay, remain convinced that some of the acquitted...
Donc là, elle parle de la fameuse histoire d'Outreau, hein, vous savez, où justement, Dupond-Moretti, il est surnommé l'ogre d'Outreau parce que voilà, c'est une affaire de PEDO assez brutale, hein, et pas que. Et donc évidemment, Éric Dupond-Moretti est un pilier de cette affaire-là parce que c'est l'avocat. Et il faut comprendre qu'il fait passer des interrogatoires à des gosses qui ont même pas 10 ans, quoi. Et il les traumatise, quoi. Alors il y a marqué même, hein, regardez sur la page Wikipédia, il y a marqué, voilà, il terrorise une fille de 7 ans qui, à cause de la peur, surine dessus. Voilà. C'est quand même, c'est pas rien, quoi, hein. Et il continue de faire l'entretien parce que voilà, il veut obtenir, alors qu'en réalité on sait très bien que la parole d'un enfant ça vaut quand même très peu de choses. surtout quand il est submergé par l'émotion, quoi. Donc c'est pour vous dire à quel point ce type-là n'a pas d'état d'âme au sens, il n'a pas d'empathie. Sur le moment en tout cas, je ne le connais pas personnellement, mais sur le moment, quand tu terrorises un enfant pour une affaire certes sérieuse, mais quand tu terrorises un enfant, quitte à ce qu'il se pisse dessus et que tu continues l'entretien, alors qu'il est submergé par l'émotion, c'est des traumatismes, hein. Tout ça, ce sont des traumatismes. L'enfant, il gardera ça toute sa vie, quoi. Et après, on se plaint que certains mecs ont des tares ou ont Bah oui, mais forcément, quand tu leur fais vivre des choses comme ça, je veux dire, au bout d'un moment... Donc, en tout cas, bravo à Candace Owens de relayer ça. Et c'est dingue parce que, finalement, on se rend compte que Candace Owens fait le boulot que devraient faire, en fait, nos journalistes français. Ils ne le font pas. Je veux dire, les seuls qui ont parlé de ça, c'est quand même Fait et Documents. C'est Fait et Documents. Et malheureusement, Fait et Documents communiquent mal. Ils ne font pas de format vidéo, ils ne font pas de... Et c'est dommage, parce qu'on se rend compte que Candace Owens, elle fait le boulot de Fait et Documents sur la politique française, sur le pacte de corruption, sur la corruption même en Macronie, sur l'affaire Brigitte, sur les personnages français qui posent problème et qui détiennent finalement, qui manipulent nos politiques français à leurs fins souvent financières. Et donc tout ça, c'est très intéressant. Donc merci encore une fois à Candace Owens qui fait le boulot, et en plus elle a de l'audience, donc ça ne peut qu'être prometteur, hein. Donc voilà. En tout cas, ça fait plaisir d'entendre la bouche de Candace, voilà le passif d'Éric Dupond-Moretti. Et puis j'espère que vous en avez appris aussi des bonnes. Voilà. Merci d'avoir suivi la vidéo. Rendez-vous dans quelques heures ou à demain pour une prochaine vidéo. Paix et amour sur mes amis et mes ennemis, et surtout sur mes ennemis.